Year 8. Over the next number of weeks, I'm going to be showing you how to write code using a programming language called Python. Now, some of you might have used Python before, and I know we did start it very briefly just before the school went into lockdown. But this video is really just outlining how you use the IDE or Integrated Development Environment Trinket, which is built into this SEO website. Now, I have also attached a YouTube video or a link to a YouTube video which explains what the Python programming language is and what it can be used for. And I would encourage you to, if you haven't already done so, to watch it first before logging into this website. So if you've already watched the YouTube video introducing Python, then go to the following URL or web address, type it in to your address bar, training.ca.org.uk, and that should bring you to this page. Click on C2K account login only, and then it'll ask for your username and password. And the username and password is exactly the same as you'd enter in school. So click login. Now, your home screen will look slightly different from this. And also that you will probably be asked to fill in a bio or profile page because this will be your first time logging in. If it's not your first time logging in, then you don't have to worry about it. But if it is your first time logging in, it'll ask for information like about me, email address, gender, and so on. And the only thing I'd really fill in there, to be honest, is my email address, or your email address, should I say. And that's in the form your username at c2ken.net. So for example, emartin680 at c2ken.net, which is also my email address, which you're free to email me with any questions you might have. So once you've filled that in, you should see something like this. Now, you may not see all the options that I have, but what I would like you to enroll on, if you haven't already done so, is getting started with Python. So click on that. And again, what you see in this area will differ slightly from what I see. So you will not see teacher, how to use this course, or the solutions, but you should see pupil, how to use this course. Now, you'll probably have little icons that link, bigger icons than this to link you to each of these options, but essentially it takes you to the same place. You'll have Enroll Me, which I'm going to show you in a wee second, Glossary, which is just an explanation of the key terms you'll come across over the next number of weeks, and a Python quick reference sheet which shows you and explains some of the concepts that you'll be using over the next number of weeks. So if we go to Enroll Me, which is the first thing you should do before you start the tasks. Now, you'll need to enroll in a group, and each of the groups correspond to your collects. So you'll see that there are 10 Year 8 groups. Now, obviously, there are not 10 collects, but we're just really utilizing the first 5 groupings. So if you're in 8A, you join group 1. If you're in 8B, you join group 2. If you're in group 3, it's group C. If you're in 8D, you join group 4. And if you're in 8E, you join group 5. So 8A, group 1, 8B, group 2, 8C, group 3, 8D, group 4, and 8E, group 5. So to enroll in the course, then you just click on your group. So if I'm in 8A, I will click group 1 and click on Enroll Me. And what will happen is your name then should transfer across to the right hand side. Okay, so we'll do that. So I'll just unenroll myself and then show you how I enroll. So I go back up to 8A and Enroll Me. So there we go. And now I'm going to go back to the Getting Started with Python homepage. And I'm just going to quickly show you this pupil how to use this course. So this is something you can read in addition to this video if you're not sure exactly how to use the course. But hopefully this video will provide the sort of key pointers that you need to get you started at least. So I click on this little link here and then click on the PDF file, a document which explains what the course is about and how to use it. So just to quickly overview this, the Getting Started with Python course introduces pupils to coding with Python using 5 short activities. Pupils use the concepts of computational thinking to solve problems and design programs. They also learn about some of the fundamentals of programming, including sequencing, which is putting steps in a particular order, selection, making condition based choices, repetition, repeating sections of code with loops, and finally, variables. Data stored in the computer that can be referenced and manipulated. Now, each of these 4 concepts are concepts that no matter what programming language you use are fundamental. And now it will obviously differ in terms of the syntax, as it's known, the actual words that you use in the programming language, that will differ from programming language to programming language. But in terms of the core concepts themselves, in terms of the functions that they perform, that will be exactly the same. Now, I know it says it's not designed to be used independently by pupils. It's probably best if we're doing it in the classroom, but given the circumstances we find ourselves in, this is the next best thing. Now, I said at the start, you're going to use an IDE or an integrated development environment to learn how to code. And the IDE you're going to use is an IDE called Trinket. And Trinket is very simple to use. You can actually go to the Trinket website, and you can use the IDE within the Trinket website. But you shouldn't have to do that because it's all built into the SIA website. So it means you don't have to switch windows. You can look at what you have to do, and you can do it in the same browser tab. So um, to get the full functionality of the course, pupils will need to register for a free Trinket account. Now, I don't think that is necessarily the case. I think because of, unless your browser set up in a different way, once you sign into the SIA website, then it shouldn't require you to register for a free Trinket account. But obviously, there's so many different browsers and so many different types of computer. People might have different settings. So if you are required to set up a Trinket account, then you can go to www.trinket.io and register there. And just to show you that, by clicking that now, you'll see you can sign up for a free account. So just going back, excuse me. Okay, so in terms of the structure of the course, essentially you'll have 5 tasks to complete over the course of this particular Python course. And each task then has a series of subtasks, so a series of steps that you have to complete in order to complete the main task itself. And the main task itself is laid out in a sequential manner. So each step should build upon the knowledge and concepts taught in the previous step. And for example, creating a chatbot, at the start of the activity, it will explain what the key learning goals are for that particular step. The first task, then you should learn what a string is, how to display text on the screen, how to ask the user a question, and how to store the user's answer in a variable. I'm going to go through each of those and explain it in a bit more detail now. So once you've finished reading through those, as I say, it goes into a wee bit of detail about what things you learn in each task. I'm just going to go back to the SIA website, and I'm going to click on creating a chatbot, and right click on that. I'll maybe go back to this and then click on creating a chatbot, and I'm just going to click on this. Now, I've done these all before, so the answers might be filled in, but just to give you an idea of how this is going to work over the next number of weeks, I'm just going to take each task each week and explain what's happening, and then you're going to complete that task in preparation for the next week. So just to explain what this activity is about, you'll learn what a string is. A string is a collection of letters or numbers which you can store in a computer. You're going to learn how to display text on the screen, so how to use the print and input function. we're going to learn how to use how to ask the user a question, again using the input function, and then how to store the user's response or answer in a variable. And the variable we're going to use in this particular task is called a string variable, which I explained at the start. So if I click on next activity, you see now that we're into step 1 of the creating chatbot. You'll see your steps are listed here. You see there are four steps, with the 5th step being a test of your understanding of the programming language. So the first 4 steps are really explaining the code, and then the 5th step is where you practice your code. So let's just do the first step. Now normally this blurb, it's very important that you read this blurb. I'm not going to read the blurb. I'm going to talk and explain it in my own words, but this blurb normally explains, it provides added understanding to what you're actually about to do. So normally what they ask you to do is you insert it in a little screenshot below the actual instructions themselves, and then you will type in the print function. So print hello world. So I just click play, and you'll see that hello world will appear on the right hand side. So this is where you type your code. That there function there, the view the result, is what's known as a compiler, and it compiles the code. In other words, it checks it for any errors, and then the output will appear on the right hand side. So that is, there's no errors there, and it produces successful output, and then the output appears on the right hand side. So I click on next activity, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the program to print hello, and then I'm going to use the input function to gather or ascertain information from the user. So I'm going to type in print hello, and I'm going to type in input, what is your name? And what's going to happen is it's going to print hello, and then it's going to print below that what is your name, and it's going to put a cursor around it. And that's all it's going to do, and that's all it's designed to do. So now if I type in my name, Mr. Martin, I hit enter, nothing else happens. And that's what I expect. There are no errors again appearing, so that's fine. And that is a simple print function and a simple input function. And these are called functions. They normally appear in pink or purple. So input gets the user to type something in response to this question, and print just prints that to the console. Next activity then is helping the computer remember, and this is where you're going to use what's known as a variable, in this case a string variable, and a string variable stores letters or numbers. So again we're going to print hello, make it slightly different, print hello year 8. Now we're going to type in a variable called name, and we're going to input, forgot my speech marks. It's very important that you follow the exact code. You enter the exact code, and that's speech marks, brackets, capital letters, the works, because programming languages are very particular, and if you don't do exactly as you're supposed to, then your program won't work and you'll get lots of errors. We don't like errors, don't like bugs in programs. So will print hello year 8 at the screen, and then it will print what is your name and put the little cursor. But in this instance, it will store what you enter into this variable name. So in other words, it will store it in memory. So what we'll do now is we'll press play. What is your name? Type in Mr. Martin. And again, it appears that nothing else is happening. But what is actually happening is it's taking Mr. Martin and it's storing it in this variable name. So let's just do the next and final step. And what this is doing now is it's adding another dimension in. It's printing hello, then it is asking the user name, it's storing it in this variable name, and the final step then is it's actually printing out whatever's stored in this variable name. So we print hello, name equals input. Oh, Got my speech marks again, very important. What is your name? And now I'm going to print whatever the user types in there. It's going to be stored in name, and I'm going to print it out. So let's just click play. So I type in Mr. Martin, enter, then it's going to print Mr. Martin back at me. Now you'll see that there's actually 3 parts here. Part 2 then is extending that a little bit, and what's known as concatenating the variable to a sentence. So that means just joining a sentence to what's stored in the variable. So what I would do here is just type in hello, comma, put a wee space, speech marks plus name, and hit play. So I type in Mr. Martin, enter. It will join whatever is stored in the name to this sentence here. The last step, the last step is joining a sentence before and after the variable. So all I could have to do here is put a plus in, and let's just say we hope you are having a nice day. I click play here. What is your name? Mr. Martin. Hit enter. Hello, Mr. Martin. We hope you're having a nice day. So that's just joining what's known as concatenation, joining a sentence to a string variable, both before and after the string variable. Now, the next and final step is really a little test, if you like, to try and test your understanding. I'm not going to show you how to do it because that's where you're going to practice what I have just shown you. But essentially, you're going to create 3 variables, name, color, and song, read them in from the user using the input functions, and then print them out using your concatenations. You're going to join them, the variables, to sentences. So have a go at that, and I would like that done for next week, because next week we'll move on to getting our chatbot to make decisions, which is the next step. If you have any questions in the meantime, just add them to the comments.